Say, man, you got a joint?
No, not on me, man.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
Oh shit, I've got to tell you
That's
this.
Oh, and I got one to tell you too.
Okay, so I go to dinner the other night with two of my best friends. I've known them for almost 20. Well, one I've known for sure 20 years, and the other one I've known of her, but we didn't become friends until a little bit later. But anyway, two of my very best friends. We go to dinner, and I half of an edible.
Marijuana's bad.
And I couldn't even, and see, some edibles you can actually taste the THC. No, this one definitely tasted like 100% just like chocolate candy, like just a chocolate piece of chocolate.
Marijuana's bad.
Couldn't taste any of it, and I was like, whatever. There's not anything in this. I can't even taste anything. So I'm like doing my thing, eating my dinner. I had never been so high in my entire fucking life. I had to Uber myself home. I was sitting and I looked at the clock. Do you know how long I was sitting in? Okay, sitting in this bench, like at this restaurant, sitting there. I'd sat there for maybe 45 minutes. Felt like I'd been there 4 hours. I was that high. So
Were you paranoid?
Oh my God, I was so paranoid that to where I'm like, I don't know what I look like on the outside. Can they tell that I'm stoned out of my mind? Can they? All right, am I acting weird? Do I need to move more? Do I need to move less? That whole thing. So then I'm like, okay, I can't move my left arm to get myself out of this booth, but I know that I've got to walk. Can't even walk.
Oh shit.
I was that high.
Marijuana's bad.
It was miserable. I cried because on the way home in my Uber in the back seat, I totally thought that this guy had hit it into warp speed and that I was going to die. I really thought that this guy was going like, you know, what is that? Where they hit it into warp speed and like you see all the stars like going by.
Hyperdrive.
That's how I felt when I was in the back of that seat.
Hit it.
It was bad. I hadn't been that high in forever. Oh, actually, well, it was Bonnaroo. That was probably the last time that I was that high.
I know, because you were still high the next day.
I was high. Yeah, I was still stoned the next day. Yeah. I was hungover from weed. Can you get a weed hangover? Is that a thing? Because I definitely had one.
Yeah, I agree. I think you can. I'm sure there's people who would disagree, especially like people who are like hardcore into weed, because they're always like, no, it just feels good. Everything feels good about weed.
You haven't been that high.
I have to disagree.
Unless you had been as high as I was to where I cried because I was so paranoid that I was crying, then I don't want to hear it.
No.
Like, that was the worst. I usually like the being high. It's really relaxing and, you know, just peaceful and mellow. Not that fucking time.
Yeah.
That sent me into paranoia hyperdrive.
There's peaceful, mellow high, and then there's fucked up paranoid high.
And it was not fun. I don't like that feeling.
That happened to me, like, last year. I was on a boat, and I went on the boat. One of our friends was having a concert on the boat. And as soon as I got on the boat, I saw these two cute girls I hadn't seen in a while, and they're like, "Hey, you want to smoke blunt?" And I was like, "Okay, yeah, sure." So I smoked a blunt with them. And,
Marijuana's bad.
We hung out. Then I went upstairs to get a drink because the bar is upstairs, and I saw these other two cute Russian girls, and they were like, "Hey, want to smoke a blunt?" And I was like, "Okay."
Marijuana's bad.
I wasn't gonna turn them down, right? So I smoked blunt with them. And then there's these like, and then we did that. We hung out a while. I had my drink, and then like a few minutes later, these two black dudes come over, and they were kind of always intimidating, but now they're like, "Hey, man, I haven't seen you forever. You know, you want to smoke blunt?" And I was like, "Well, I need to." Because I need to make friends with these guys.
So,
yeah, I smoked one with them. So I had smoked like 3 blunts within like an hour.
Oh, my.
You know, so that was the most fucked up I ever was. And then I remember being on top of the boat, looking off, and then saying, I don't want to stand too close to the edge. Because I was afraid that I might just do something funny.
Do some stupid.
You know, like maybe I'll just try to be funny. And I might do something stupid. So I still had that much sense about myself.
I'm flying through the air. This is not
I
good.
went downstairs, and I sat downstairs where there was a concert. And I just sat at the table the whole time.
Yep, and didn't move, and just there in your own head.
Yeah. And people would come over and say hello, and it was like they were fucking demons, like, blah, you know. It's like,
did you ever... Okay, sometimes I feel like my body is this huge Statue of Liberty size, and my real self is like this little bitty person looking out the windows of eyes. Do you know what I mean?
That is some pretty fucked up
That's how I feel
shit.
sometimes.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm too fucked up.
And yeah, no, I couldn't move. And I'm like, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom. And then I was like, no, I don't. Yeah, I do. No, I don't. And maybe I already did. And I tried to convince myself,
did.
I already went.
Already peed.
Yeah. And I just sat there the whole time, and the whole time this boat was going, I kept looking out the window. I kept looking at my watch, and I can tell you the exact time. I still remember. It was 10 of 1. And
it took you 4 hours and 2 minutes to get there, right?
Yeah. And I kept looking, and it was like an hour later. I look at my watch; it's still 10 of 1.
Yeah, I know, right?
You know, and we're still going under the bridge, and I'm just like, what the
Are we still going under this bridge?
How are we still going? That person already walked by me once. And then I was sitting there looking at my watch going, okay, in 2 seconds, that woman's going to walk by. And then she walked by. And I'm like, holy shit, what is wrong with me? I couldn't figure it out.
I know, it's crazy.
And then I got to the point where I was thinking that I had already freaked out and like had some kind of like heart attack or cardiac arrest in the boat, and that I was in the hospital now, remembering back to sitting here thinking this.
Oh shit!
Marijuana's bad.
Yeah, I mean that's how fucked up I was. I'm like, I'm in the hospital right, and I'm just remembering this. That's what I'm doing.
I wanted to go to the hospital. That's how high I was. I'm like, flush me full of IV fluids and flush the shit out of my system. I don't want to feel this way anymore.
Yeah, and then and I'm telling people, I'm like, I'm really high, and they're like, you're fine, you'll be fine.
Yeah,
no, I won't.
That's what she kept telling me, the same thing. I'm like, I'm not fine.
And I wouldn't drive home. I ended up having Worley drive me home.
Yeah, no, I didn't either.
I was like, and he's like, you're all right. You know, your senses are heightened when you're high. And I'm like, yeah,
I'm not okay.
No, I'm not okay, dude. You got to drive me home. And he ended up driving me home. I'm the first one on the new road. And I remember like holding the dashboard the whole way because, dude, you're driving too fast. And he was only doing like 30. And,
yep, that's the way I felt.
Oh, scary. So yeah, no, I try not to smoke that much. I try not to get that high.
Well,
but I mean, if I would do that in the comfort of my own home.
That was the thing. I think if I was at home, I would have been totally okay.
But I wouldn't want to do it alone.
I didn't think that it would hit me that quickly.
See, I don't know how I'd feel if I did that alone. Like
if I felt that way alone, I would just sleep it off. It wouldn't have been a big deal. But being in public and knowing I had to act normal, and what the perception of other people threw me into this brain thing, and it was just like, oh my God, what are they thinking about me? So I paranoid myself.
And the crazy thing is, they're not thinking anything.
I know.
They don't even fucking
They
know.
don't even care.
You know.
Yeah.
Marijuana's bad.
I remember that was the worst.